heard the words, "I'm okay, Mum, I'm all right, I'm safe," I was able to live my life knowing that she was all right. If that conversation can help one person, then it's worth it. It's okay to have grief and joy. They can coexist.
Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening Podcast with Shaz. Today I'm joined by Leigh Mackay, a mum of 5, an author, podcast host, and a woman whose spiritual journey began through an unimaginable loss. Leigh's daughter, Taylin, passed away from spinal muscular atrophy when she was only 5 months old. In the middle of that grief, Leigh began to experience signs of guidance and a powerful sense that Taylin had not disappeared. Her physical body was gone, but the love and connection and presence remained with her. That journey eventually led Leigh to write An Angel with a Message. Her beautiful book is about her journey with her daughter. It also led her to advocate and fundraise for Spinal Muscular Atrophy of Australia, study the law of attraction, write another book called Manifest Your Best Life, and create a podcast exploring grief, healing, manifestation, and living an aligned life. Today we're going to be speaking about what happens when your deepest pain becomes part of your purpose and how spiritual connection can exist alongside grief and what it means to truly choose life again after loss. So tell us, Leigh, for all of those who don't know who you are, who is Leigh Mackay today?
So I'm a very busy mum of 4 kids, our daughter Kyla and our 3 boys, Link, Ali and Ty. Since Taylin passed away 18 years ago, we made it part of her legacy to live our best life, firstly through fundraising and then going on and writing my book and then doing podcast, Manifest Your Best Life, and writing another book. So I just love to be able to help people and spread awareness of SMA and just living positively. And I think the message that I've recently been getting is it's okay to have grief and joy. They can coexist. So I think that's how we've lived our life the past 18 years, is just by having the grief, but also accepting it and living our best life and honouring Taylin along the way.
That is so beautiful, and it is. It's perfectly okay to have grief and joy. They can coexist in the same space. And people think that you never get over it. In many ways you don't, but you still have to live, and they never want us not to live in any way, shape or form. Can you tell us a little bit about that beginning journey? For those who've never heard of spinal muscular atrophy, what would you say about the disease, and how did having Taylin, experiencing that, alter who you are today?
Yeah, so we had our first daughter, Kyla, and she was perfectly healthy. We had Taylin, and she was perfectly healthy as well. And then at 10 weeks old, she got really sick. She got pneumonia. She was airlifted to the Royal Children's, and we just thought it was pneumonia. She came home from that, and then she went back again on life support again. And this time I actually Googled it. I Googled muscle weakness in babies, and I rang the Royal Children's when she got home and I said, I think Taylin's got spinal muscular atrophy. And they said, don't be ridiculous. If she had that, she would never be able to come home. So I just had that feeling, that mum feeling, that was what she had. And I told the doctors that that's what I thought she had when we were airlifted again and went to Monash Clayton this time. And she was tested, and she had it. She was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy. We'd never heard of it before, but it's the biggest genetic killer in infants. 1 in 35 people, I think back then, were carriers. So Jace and I had to be carriers to be able to pass it on. And then you had a 1 in 4 chance or 1 in 5 chance of passing it on. So we've had 5 children, and one of them has had spinal muscular atrophy. We've got 4 that are healthy, but you could get 5 in a row. It just doesn't, it's whatever you get. It's like lotto, it's luck of the draw. So we had no idea. And this was a big shock to us because we thought, oh my God, how are we not tested for this? How do we not know that this could be something? You're screened for Down syndrome. Why aren't you screened for this horrid disease? So we had genetic testing, genetic counselling, and obviously we're carriers. And then our kids had to be tested as well. Our daughter's a carrier. She's just had a baby, but her partner's not, so it's not an issue. So it's about, whether your partner's a carrier or not, and then you've got the chance of passing it on. So we had absolutely no idea. We were just blinded by it. So that's, I think, why we've done so much work with fundraising to raise awareness of it. And your amazing cousin, Julie, has done so much for Spinal Muscular Atrophy of Association in Australia. And when we had Taylin, there was no treatment, no cure. It was take your baby home and let her die, basically. So it's amazing now that it's not only there's a treatment for it, there's a screening program for it as well. So you can make the choice to be screened for it before you have kids, which is incredible. And that was part of our Taylin's legacy and part of all of the SMA Angels legacy to have that screened. After we lost Taylin, I went to a clairvoyant and she told me that we agreed on this in our past human life to sacrifice a child so that our kids didn't have to. And that's the way I've lived since I heard that. Of course I'd do that for my kids. I would do that for them. And I have saved them now of going through that horrible pain that we went through.
That is so beautiful. And it's amazing how a deep insight like that can change things. I strongly believe in soul contracts, and I know exactly the choices that we make and the sacrifices that we willingly go through for the betterment and helping others. As you mentioned, my beautiful cousin Julie, she had 2 beautiful girls and they both had spinal muscular atrophy and passed away just around 12 months of life. Even when she first had Montana, they'd never heard of it. Nobody had any clue. Julie didn't know or sense what the disease was, so going to Google and look at the symptoms and trust your mother's instinct. And trust me, your intuition as a mother especially is heightened, and never ever discount a mother's insight and the things they're willing to do for their child. Back then, because your daughter would have been around the same age as Zali, Julie's second child, they still had no idea. The symptoms didn't show up straight away, so you never really saw what was coming with it. You had, at birth, they look perfectly healthy. They seem, everything's okay. When Julie explains what happened with Montana, she said the first doctor's visit, if she had any idea, she might have been able to do a bit more, because Montana was just a sleepy baby and she just thought, I'm gifted, I have a child that sleeps a lot. And there's no external sign or recognition of what it is. It's an internal disease. But in saying so, from everyone that I've seen and met, and I've met a few different people throughout this journey through my cousin, they're beautiful children. Their souls are glorious. If you look at their pictures, they just have this essence, and it's like fae-like or fairy-like, and you know it's not long for this world. And sometimes you see that in people, but I feel so deeply for those parents that go through it. It's not my experience. I miscarried my children. I haven't been tested because I don't have children. I don't know that I'm a carrier. Probably will be, but I haven't had the test because as a single person, it's not easy just to get. But we're grateful for the knowledge of it so that our family can get tested. A few of my Julie's sister has the carrier gene, but I try talking to my brother and his kids about it. They're not willing to be aware of it. And we pray that nobody else gets it. Thankfully, in our family, nobody else has children with it, to our knowledge. But it's a 2-person, 2-gene carrier, and it's like genetic lottery. Unfortunately, there's many diseases like it, but the change that you've all made through fundraising and altering it for this world is got to be the most beautiful blessing. And if you didn't experience it, would you have really heard about SMA at all?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I wouldn't have taken any notice. I just didn't know. But it's like when you do hear of something, then it keeps popping up. So it was more people were going through the same thing. And, you know, when we lost Taylin, I found it hard to find information. I just wanted to know that people went on and had finished their families, completed their families. So I was in contact with Julie, but I was also trying to find something of hope, and there wasn't a lot. So that's why I wrote my book, to be able to help others. And I've been able to just send my book out to someone who needs it, who needs to know that you can have a happy, healthy life, and you can have happy, healthy children after such a devastating loss.
Because the fear behind it sort of would be like unimaginable. I know when Julie fell pregnant again, they debated whether to have the test, and she lived by the life motto that really you can't be that unlucky twice, and unfortunately it was. I don't consider it luck so much as the destiny of the children. They chose that. We also know my nan had a child that died young. We're not sure of what, but we assume it may have been spinal muscular atrophy. It was back in the 40s, so it's not something that was ever known back then. We're just not sure why. But in that, it changes the outlook. And many people, I know a fair few families in the community and only one child out of the families. Like, you've got 4 beautiful children that don't have it, and that's such a blessing. And I know others that have multiple. It's not something that you can really work out. The greatest part about it today, and the one blessing that I love my cousin so dearly for, is if a child is born with SMA today, there is a treatment that can basically reverse the effects of it. And they live. It's no longer the number 1 childhood carrier. There is a prick test in their infant's feet that they get done at birth to make sure that you're aware of this, instead of taking home a healthy baby to discover a couple of months later that your world falls apart.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I was the same. My nan, both my grandmothers have lost babies. One was a set of twins during the wartime. So that could have been, stress related. Also, my other nan, a baby was born damaged while being born. And that's the thing with SMA, they're not actually strong enough to push out the birth canal. So you just have to wonder and think, did they have it as well? You don't know, and we will never know. But it's definitely, we've stopped it in our family now, which is amazing.
And if that's all you can do for your family is to heal the genetic line and change it, I'm sure we're all willing to stand up for that. And that's the part of spirituality that I do value and like. I actually had got a reading yesterday at church from one of our friends, and she was telling me my dad came through in spirit. I don't know who he is, but he's turned up in spirit a couple of times recently. And he straight out told me, I've changed the DNA in our family line. And that's through me and Julie, I believe, in the way that we've changed it. We've altered. Like, I've done a lot of energy work on this for our family and changed things. And even though I don't have children and I can't have children, it is changing the DNA through my whole family line to alter this. And I'm very privileged to be able to do that. It's hard to explain exactly how it happens, but I trust and believe it to be so. And my nephew, who has 2 beautiful children, they don't have it, and I assume that it won't happen again in our family line. That is my deepest wish and prayer. I also cannot change anybody else's life contract if they agree to that for themselves. I believe if something similar is going to happen, it won't be the same disease.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't regret, having Taylin, having had her for those 5 months was amazing. She was the most angelic little thing. Like you said, just her eyes was like looking into her soul. She had the most beautiful blue eyes, and you could just tell how beautiful her little soul was, even though she couldn't talk yet. She was just so calm, and I think that she was sent to calm me, to heal me, to show me strength. Like, I wasn't a very strong person, I don't think, before, but now, oh my God, I feel like I can do anything because I watched what she went through, and I thought, if she could do what she could do, I can do anything. And she taught us so much. She taught us more than anyone or anything ever could. She just taught us so much. And we were only having 2 girls. We were done. I'd had a really terrible pregnancy with both girls. We were done. We weren't having any more kids. I said, no way. I'm not going through that again. But she just changed our whole perspective of, wow, we just want kids surrounding us. We want, our family is so important, and we never thought we were going to have a son, and now we've got 3. And it's a crazy life, but we wouldn't change it because I never thought my husband was going to get a son. And to have now experienced boys is just incredible. and they're teenagers now, but I believe we were meant to go through what we did to make us who we are. Yeah, and she's been with us the whole time, absolutely in our hearts, the signs that we see, everything we do, she's with us.
I love that too, because people think that you have to be on earth for a really long time to leave a lasting legacy. And 5 months is a very short time, but the impact she's had on your family and the greater community, and the fact that there is a book about her and the cover picture of her, that's what I mean. When you look at her, she's just like an angel in disguise. It's beautiful. For me, it's very like fairy energy, angelic realm, but she's just like, the impact is ongoing. 18 years later, we're still talking about her. She's still having an impact. She's still helping other people. We don't have to be here for a long time to really change the world around us. Many souls come in for that very short period to have the greater impact. And it's amazing in that way. I love it. And she is so important. She's an important part of your journey, as well as the greater community for the SMA people going through it and the world, because look at what she's helped you become now. You have a voice. You share the message. You help people love families, move on after grief, and let them know that they can do it again. Because the worst part about it is the fear of, what if this happens to me twice? Like we like to say, lightning doesn't strike twice. Unfortunately, it can do. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You will get through it. And she has given you strength. She is with you. I can see her sparkling in the background of your aura. It's glorious. I hope people watching the video can notice it as well.
Yeah.
Their spirit lives with us. They grow with us, and they inspire us each and every single day. If a parent was to come to you today because they've just been diagnosed either through genetic screening about the risk, or their child's been born, they weren't screened beforehand, and they found out through the skin prick test that they have a child that has SMA, what is some guidance you would offer them today?
I suppose to get in contact with Spinal Muscular Atrophy Association of Australia, just to find out treatment options, things like that. I'm probably not as up with that as someone like Julie would be, but just to know that there wasn't hope when it happened to us. I mean, I can send them my book, but that's not going to be their story. They're not going to lose their baby. It might be that the baby has to have injections in the back of the neck, or a medication. It basically replaces a protein that they're missing when they have SMA. So it's not a death sentence anymore. It's actually, it's a livable disease now. And that's thanks to the amazing researchers and scientists and people who advocated for this. So it's not a life sentence. It's, as Julie's seen, babies can live healthy lives, full lives with SMA now. So, but if someone was to lose their child, I would say, yeah, it wouldn't happen now with SMA. It's like Julie said, it's fixed, and it's every way you look at it, there's a treatment or an option. So that's just incredible.
And I believe that nothing that we ever go through isn't something that we fully choose. We don't see it in the moment, but on the greater picture of the soul, we choose to experience this. And they are special. They have reason and purpose for it, and that's all that matters. It's what they bring to us. We look at it as a great loss. It's actually not great losses. It's the same with any child at all, with any sort of disease or disability that we call it. For me, the most beautiful children in the world are children with Down syndrome, and some people are horrified to find out that they have them, and they don't want to go and experience that. It's not an easy journey, don't get me wrong, but they are gifted. They're magical. They just have a different spirit and a different life. And I feel that anyone that chooses to go through this has reason, purpose, and a full passion behind making massive change in this world.
Yeah. And we can see her in her siblings. We see her in life every day. You know, we see her in dragonflies and rainbows and songs that come on the radio. And there's just been so many signs that it's just incredible. she's with us all the time, giving us her strength. I've got her necklace, her name on my necklace, and I just hold that when I need a bit of strength. So she always inspires us and always gives us signs and lets us know that she's here and guides us. She's always been my guide, and how special to have that, your own personal guardian angel.
It's the greatest gift that I have from my stepsister who passed away when she was just 20, is she's turned into a spirit guide for me, and my twins as well. They would be the same age as Taylin. They would have been born in 2008 as well. Those connections are like, sitting here talking to you, I have full body tingles. I can feel them all here. They are so excited to be part of the conversation. They love the frequency of it. They love their names being spoken into existence. And just the love is, I wish I could fully explain the encompassment of it. It's blissful. It's totally blissful. Would you mind sharing, on the night Taylin passed away, you mentioned in our pre-chat that you felt her presence and you had a very spiritual moment.
Yeah, so while she was passing away in hospital, I was so worried that I hadn't been raised religious or anything. And I said to my dad, I don't think I want to bury Dad. I think I need to cremate her because I can't stand the thought of her little body in a little pink box in the ground. And Dad said to me, no, her body's just her casing. Her spirit will go and live on, and she'll be around you and in your heart and all of that sort of thing. And that's what's gotten me through the last 18 years, those words from my dad to say that she would be an angel and her spirit would live on. If I thought her body was in a box in the ground, I wouldn't be able to live. But I know that she's not there and she's with us. And at her funeral, we released some balloons and 2 eagles appeared and flew with the balloons, we believe, all the way to heaven, which was an amazing sign. And yeah, the night we got home after she passed away, I was just about asleep and I heard the words, I'm okay, Mum, I'm all right, I'm safe. And it was so powerful. And I just said to Jace, oh my God, she's just come to me and told me she's okay. Because I was thinking, how am I ever going to sleep? How am I ever going to live? How am I ever going to get out of bed? How am I ever going to function? I've got to get up for my daughter. And just those words gave me so much peace and so much strength. And I thought, she is okay. She's okay and she's safe. She's with probably my grandparents and she's all right. She'll be okay. So I was able to sleep. I was able to get up the next day. I was able to live my life knowing that she was all right. And that was so powerful.
That is the power of spirit and what they can do for you. I have had many experiences where loved ones have crossed over and they've come back with a message straight away. I know there are doubters out there that are going to say, as if she can do that, she couldn't talk. Spirit is more powerful than the human being and the form that we live in this. That peace that you got, it's life-changing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so life-changing.
I love that. It's so gorgeous. From moving on from that, as you went and did all this beautiful fundraising for SMA and grew up with your family, birthed 3 beautiful boys afterwards and expanded your life, what actually led you into the full spiritual experience and to create a manifesting podcast?
Yeah, I think it was just from the get-go. From that day she passed away, I needed something to get me through, and the spirituality is what got me through. And the fundraising was part of my purpose, I think, in this world, and part of Taylin's legacy. It was a way that we could honour her, we could talk about her. I wrote her story when she was first started writing my book, so her story when she was sick in the Royal Children's Hospital. I wrote the first chapter at Ronald McDonald House. And I then added to that story when we had the boys. We had to have genetic testing. So, there was a chance we'd have to terminate a pregnancy at 12, 14 weeks. We had to have a CVS test, which was a horrible test, needle in the belly. So each baby was a story, another chapter. And I kept writing, and I wrote first for the local newspaper because I wanted to raise awareness and funds for SMA Australia. And then it just became a book. And I wrote the book, and I was able to, like I said, give it to people who had lost a child. I was able to help my friends understand what happened to her. I wanted my friends and family, I wanted my kids to be able to read it one day, to find out what happened to their sister. I wanted her story to never be forgotten. Needed to write it down in words so that I wouldn't forget it. I mean, I don't forget it now, still 18 years later, but I needed that. So I did that. And then 5 years ago, I started the podcast, Manifest Your Best Life, because I wanted to share stories about grief, about self-care, law of attraction, living a positive life, that sort of thing. And then I went inward a little bit. It was around the time of COVID. I stopped the podcast for a little while and I started writing again. And it was like a continuation of Taylin's story, how I suppose I got through the last 18 years, living holistically and spiritually and all of that, how that helped me. So I wrote that book. And then just recently, probably the last year, I've been back into the podcast because I just feel like, again, I'm being guided and I've got stories to tell. And I talk to people about mental health. I talk to people about grief, living positively, the law of attraction. I've talked to you about spirituality. I just enjoy, and I feel like I'm guided to the people that I need to have a conversation with, because if that conversation can help one person, then it's worth it. And it's just a bit of a hobby for me, and it feels like it's my purpose. So that's, I suppose, why I like sharing the podcast and sharing stories, because I think if it can help one person, then it's worth it.
You're like me in that sense. My whole mission about this podcast is if one person listens, gets value from it, it makes all the energy and effort worthwhile. Because it has much greater impact than that. There are thousands of people that listen to it. I know that because I get messages every now and then. Someone will just text me or inbox me saying, thank you so much. I needed to hear that today. You have no idea how much difference it made. And that impact is important. Everyone has a voice, and you never know what aspect of your story is going to help someone in their darkest need.
Yeah.
When you look back over the journey, what does healing mean for you now?
Healing, I think, is listening to your intuition, listening to your body. What is your body trying to tell you? I love going for a walk every day. I see signs and just nature. I love nature. I love things like Reiki, kinesiology, naturopath. So I make sure that I do all of those every year, annually or biannually. I see the naturopath, the kinesiology, having a massage, just taking care of yourself, looking after yourself, eating healthy foods, but still enjoying yourself, and having, I think, just your health overall depends on your happiness and your outlook, your positive outlook. Then that reflects on your relationships, your marriage, or your kids. Just being able to help people, I think, gives me joy. And yeah, I think that's how I live my best life. Hopefully I answered your question with that.
I love that. And it's true. Like, we just show up in the way that we do it. We use the tools that are available to us and do everything we can to stop that. No phone calls all day, right in the middle of a podcast. We do everything that we can in order to be exactly what we need to be. I value like that you go and look at the different aspects of it. This healing journey is never ending, especially with grief. There is not a day I can imagine that you never think about your daughter in some way or form. And carrying her on your chest, on your necklace, is a beautiful memory of her. What are some of the beautiful signs or experiences that you've had since she's passed where you 100% know she's been with you at important moments?
Yeah, just to add to that too, I want to say that the journey hasn't all been rainbows. You know, we do have PTSD from what we went through, post-traumatic stress disorder, and we know that we've got that. And the best thing is knowing that you've got that and knowing when it flares up. It might be something, a work issue that flares it up. It might be something like you're feeling a bit anxious and we think, oh, that's the PTSD. The trauma comes back. And if you don't do the things like listen to your body and listen to your intuition and get the help that you need, then it does keep coming up. But the signs we've had over the years have been incredible. Her song was Chasing Cars.
Oh, I love
it. It was an amazing song, and we played it all the time in hospital when she was sick. So now Chasing Cars comes on the radio everywhere. Everywhere we go, it comes on the radio. Go in the car, it comes on. It's so powerful, her song. Our dragonflies, like I said, they come to us when they're not even, it's not even the right season for them. We've got a pool here, and they come and they just float around the pool, and it's like, wow. They're just so, when we go on holidays, they're there. So it's like she follows us on our journey. The kids love it. They think it's amazing that dragonflies just show up. You don't see dragonflies all the time, but we do. And butterflies, rainbows. If we need guidance on something, we'll get that rainbow. Or if we need a bit of pick-me-up, we'll get her song on the radio. If we're going through something that's a bit tough at the moment, we'll see, just something to do with her. It's incredible. The signs are just so powerful. And even friends and family that know her signs, they know dragonflies are her thing. They know that song's her thing. They'll let us know. They'll text us and let us know they've seen a dragonfly or her song come on the radio. And it's just so lovely that she's with all of our friends and family as well, that were part of her journey. And we have that bond with them. We have a really strong bond with our friends who went through it with us closely, and also our family as well.
That is beautiful.
Mm.
If she was here today, just say she was the adult 18-year-old daughter and you lived a life with her, what was something that you would say to her today?
I'll just say I'm so proud of her, and thank you for guiding us and getting through this unimaginable grief. Thank you for being with us, even though you're not physically, you're here in our hearts. You give us strength. You've made us who we are. You've built the people that we are and the family that we are, the relationship that we have. Sometimes with marriages, it doesn't work after you've lost a child. And it's absolutely brought Jason and I so much closer together. Thank you for the gift of giving us 3 healthy boys. Thank you for being with our daughter while she's had hard times, and thank you for guiding her. Thank you for thank you, I think, is so important. Thank you for just giving me the messages that I can help people and what I need to do to be able to do that, whether it's through books or the podcast or having a conversation with someone. Just being with us all the time. So powerful.
That is just gorgeous. Do you have anything are you creating anything at the moment? Is there anything new coming up for you?
I have just created some Manifest Your Best Life Oracle cards, so they're exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love a good Oracle card deck. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, so they're basically just nice positive messages. I'm doing some readings, Oracle card readings, and just sharing that on the podcast and doing some emailed readings and things like that. But I feel like the podcast and, sharing positive messages on Facebook and Instagram is the way to go. That's my purpose, and that's the way I'm being guided.
Where is the best place everyone can find your podcast?
Yeah, so basically anywhere you get your podcasts, on Apple or Spotify, Manifest Your Best Life. I've also got Facebook and Instagram, Manifest Your Best Life. On Instagram, it's got 44 at the end because I couldn't have just Manifest Your Best Life. And I've just started on TikTok since we spoke about that, so that's exciting.
Since I spoke to you about that, on Saturday I got up and I was just coming into my office to do some work, and I literally got told, you need to go on TikTok. I go, why? And my spirit guides can be quite forthright or nasty sometimes, as I say. Just do it. I'm like, why? Because I said, I'm like, okay, fine. So at 11:11, I went on TikTok, and I thought I'd be on there at like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. 2 hours later at 1:11, we got off TikTok.
Wow.
Just doing readings, having a chat with people. Some of my friends were on there. I brought one of my colleagues and connections online. We had a bit of a chat. It was fun. It's not something I know how to use that well, but I'm being guided to go back on it again. I will be on it sometime today, probably after my past life regression interview I'm doing a session with a client later. But I trust every instinct when they tell me. They will just go do this. It was never in my intention to do it, but it's working out. It's what we need, and people out there need us. There's so much hard things going on for people. If I can inspire, uplift them, and give them a sense of peace, even for 5 minutes, that is the greatest gift that I can give humanity, I believe.
Absolutely.
So the best place to contact you, Facebook, Instagram, and you've got a website?
No, I just use LinkedIn.
Okay,
But the
that's
link
all
to
good.
that, for now, the link to that is on the Facebook and Instagram.
And we'll put links to Leigh's books and other details for you to connect with her. I'm so grateful for this conversation today, Leigh. It has been amazing, and I really value the insights. I feel so deeply for the experience that you've been through. I can sense Taylin around us. Her energy is vibrant, it is beautiful. You say you're proud of her, but I can't tell you how proud she is of you and your family for everything that they've done, because the greatest sorrow from Souls in Spirit, from all of my connection with them over the years, is that someone will forget them. And she's not forgotten. She's talking about every single day. She's a live fixture in your life. People know about her. She's so proud of that book and her image of it because she's so cute. And she is everything that she ever wanted to be in this life. She loves every single one of you and shows up with those dragonflies and rainbows every day.
Thanks, Shaz. Thanks so much for having me. I've got goosebumps when you said that because it's so lovely to hear that. I never get sick of hearing that she's with us.
All the time, and she she's telling me like her baby brother, so the youngest one, is like her favorite. So they play together, and that's her favorite. That's the one that she hangs around the most. She tries not to have favorites, but for some reason they must connect, or he has some visions of her. She goes, he's the one that I mess with the most. So
Wow.
love is beautiful, and she's a water baby. So you talk about your pool, and she goes, no wonder I'm there, because she's anywhere where water is, she's there. She's highly connected to the water and has a beautiful vibration. Her only sorrow is that, in her opinion, she caused you grave heartbreak, and that's not what she wanted. But at the same time, she knew that you would get through it. You offered this gift, and she's grateful for the experience for both of you. And tell Dad that I love him too, because she
Oh,
told you, but Dad hasn't heard it. But she loves Dad just as much. She's an integral part of your family, not forgotten. She's always remembered, and she's part of every aspect of your day. She values that highly.
I feel that. Thank you. And I'll tell him that. He'll love hearing that. He absolutely adored her, and she adored him too.
Yeah, she tells me that they had like
A bond.
a special bond. It was very special,
Mm,
and like a mother and father's love. Like, she felt unconditional love even throughout it. Like, no matter what, you fought for her, you
mm,
advocated for her, you stood up for her, and then you created a legacy for her, and she has
mm,
had impact, and that's all she could ever ask for. She says, I'm eternally written in the stars. So there is, it's not like she's a blip on the radar that came and went, and no memory of her. She's solid and has purpose in this world, and it's beautiful. Thank you for all of that, and I'm once again so grateful for this conversation. It's beautiful. I know so many women out there, whether they have children who go through SMA, or whether they have any loss in their life, who go through the grief process, that need to hear that you can get through it. You have
mm.
the power behind you. There is support if you need it. Leigh or I would gladly talk to anyone going through any suffering around grief, loss, or insecurity around spirit not being available to you. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out and ask for help when you need it. Community is everything, and that is what will help us all bring everything that we need in this world into oneness. For that is what we all here are for. Building the legacy, the power, and the message to share with others is the whole reason we go through these life events, and they change us intrinsically, and that wisdom is then there for other people to walk through. Thank you once again so much for this. I've appreciated every moment of it, and I look forward to working out how we can connect again and what we can do in the future.
Sounds great. Thanks, Shaz. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Anytime. And thank you everyone that has listened. Check out the show notes and all the details down below. Until next time.